What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Sit Down Saturday. Today we're going to get to that curating stuff, the dusting stuff, how to take care of your collection and all that. It's something we talked about months and months and months ago, and people were saying, where's the video, where's the video, where's the video? Here it is. It just took me some time to get it together and kind of get motivated to do it, but here it is. I'm trying to kind of tie up as many loose threads of 2019 that I can before we move on to 2020. I got a little bit of news I got to get out of the way. Thanks to everybody that hit me up about trying to get my song on iTunes and Google Play and all that. As it turns out, it got sorted out. They took care of it, so it'll be up on Christmas spite on iTunes and Google Play. And the music video will hit New Year's Eve per usual at midnight, so I guess New Year's Day technically. With that being said, let's move on to house cleaning, which is kind of apt since today we're talking about cleaning in general. I gotta start with the center twin. A lot of people misunderstood what I was saying there. It's not the fact that he's stylized that makes him seem out of touch and out of date. It's the fact that he seems out of touch and out of date. Like, you can have stylized figures and they can be fine. Like, I think Generation Toy is more in touch. I think that G Creations, before they left, that they were still in touch. And to be fair, I don't know that they left, but it just seems like they're gone. Mastermind Creations, like there's a number of companies that make stylized figures, Planet X, but seem like they still have a grip on the times. This TFC figure just seems like something antiquated, just in terms of how it's stylized, but also more importantly, how it's built and engineered. It just seems like something from yesteryear. You know, and there's a lot of comments that were like, well, just because it's not G1, it's like, dude, I'm not even that guy. I'm not that guy. I like G1 inspired. I don't like super cartoon accuracy. I've talked about it at length here. Come on. Sometimes I think that we should try to listen to what each other are saying instead of assuming that we understand what they're saying and then making a counter argument based off of nothing. But it's all good. Let's move on. Last week, Sit Down Saturday on the hoarding. A lot of good and positive feedback on that. I just want to be clear, just because you have your boxes doesn't mean that I think you're hoarding. I think that I might be hoarding because I'm keeping boxes of stuff that I know have no intention of selling. They're just kind of taking up space, and I'm not sure exactly why. So it was more of a personal thing. It wasn't a judgment on what you're doing. Goose came out. One of the best Fans Toys transformations I've ever dealt with. Like, what a breath of fresh air in that regard. There were some people that acted like it's not a good figure. It's a great figure. It's got a couple of issues, the way all figures do, but it's a great figure. Let's see if there's any other business. Did you guys see Rise of Skywalker? I went Thursday night. You have to forgive the mess. We've been kind of down here podding and partying and all that kind of stuff recently. So hopefully I got a quick review up for Force Friday. That was my intention anyway. All right, so let's get into house cleaning. And house cleaning deals with what mainly? We're talking about our curation process for our collection, our dusting, our taking care of our products so that they last long and look good, right? I'll start with a few basics. I dust once a year in March and I slowly work through my collection. Dusting is important. But first, let's define dust. Dust is made of fine particles of solid matter. In our homes and offices and other human environments, it contains small amounts of plant pollen, human and animal hair, textile fibers, paper fibers, minerals from outdoor soil, human skin cells, burnt meteorite particles, and many other materials which may be found in the local environment. Meteorite particles, Mac. God bless. The main issue with dust is that it poses health threats closely related to respiratory illness. House dust can become airborne easily. Products like Pledge and Swiffer are specifically made for removing dust by trapping it with sticky chemicals. But we can't be spraying those chemicals on our figures, can we? Because we don't want anything to destroy what we have. But dust can also stain, and in rare and long-lasting cases can cause and speed up the breakdown of materials. So it's not a good thing to have on our stuff. For your health and for your stuff. You can get air filters, you can lock stuff behind glass, etc., etc. Generally, detolfs don't help, I can tell you that, because I got dust all on my stuff in the detolfs. So how do we fix the problem, right? I'm big on solutions. I don't like doing a whole lot of crying about the problem. I'll tell you what I use. I use a duster. Now, a feather duster or one of those like stick duster things, they do tend to kick up dust, so be careful when doing that. You know, you don't want to use it really on furniture and stuff like that, but small stuff like this is not really an issue. I use Dust Off. It's for electronics and stuff. It is compressed air. I always operate with at least 2. I'll show you how to use them here shortly. The reason why I operate with 2 is because, for one, if you overuse it, they have a tendency to get cold. The cold is closely related to the oxygen that is in air, making up roughly 19%. Air also carries moisture, thus sometimes you can get a liquid to come out of your compressed air. Usually you clear it in the beginning and you'll see a burst of liquid, so to speak. I'll show you that as well. But when one starts running low, or starts getting cold or starts getting kind of, you know, you start becoming fearful that it's going to start spraying, then you can use another one and kind of switch gears and continue. I also use makeup brushes. They're relatively inexpensive, and this is for kind of the fine detailing, and you can start big and sort of work your way small. There's also people that use baby wipes. Baby wipes are really the only kind of cleaning wipe that people recommend because they're supposed to be safe for baby skin, so they're supposed to be safe for your figures. I don't trust it. Something feels wrong about it, so I've never used it, but supposedly it works. It's good to have numerous amounts of tools though, because dust adheres to different plastics and materials and metals and so forth differently. So sometimes you're going to have better luck with the compressed air. Sometimes you're going to have better luck with your makeup brushes. It all kind of depends. Softer plastics and rubbery type plastics tend to work better with the brushes, whereas harder plastics and metals tend to work better with the compressed air. But using all of them kind of in concert is usually the best way to sort of go about it. But I don't know about you guys. I'm not really good at learning when people are just talking at me. I need to see it and I need to get my hands on it, so to speak. So with that being said, let's get into some practical uses. I'm going to pick a couple pieces from my collection and show you the process. I chose Soundwave because he's a darker color and that's going to help the dust show up. So hopefully you guys can see he's got some pretty serious dust going on. Now people have picked him up and stuff and like tried to help, you know, but you can see like here on the shoulder and stuff, on the back, all that kind of, like, he's dusty. And I tried not to dust him at all. When I usually dust once a year. I think I've probably already gone over that, but I'm doing this first, so pardon me. But I try to dust the figures. At that point, I didn't do him on purpose, so to speak, so that he would be extra dusty. And we're going to kind of take a before and after look. So I'm going to have this, and I'm going to have some pictures, and we'll show it, and we'll go through the steps. Okay, so the first thing I do is I take like a regular duster that you can buy anywhere and just sort of hit and try to knock the big stuff off. You know, that'll help out later on. I'm using ours. We ran out of like little dusting things for, so I'm using the one from that you'll be seeing in the music videos soon. But okay, so that already helps tremendously, but it's hard to get inside the little nooks and crannies. Now we're taking our can here. We're going to take off our little nozzle piece. There's a safety tab here that you can remove, and then we're just going to insert. You don't want to shake this. This is not, it's not meant to be shook. It's not a can of spray paint. So then we're going to clear the nozzle. We're going to do this by firing a quick couple short bursts. That'll get some of the liquid out of there because we don't want to get that on here. And then we're going to use short controlled bursts to knock off most of this dust. That will help, you know, in the more nooks and crannies area. Already looking much better. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm trying to get that. All right, it's getting cold, so that would be the time that you would go ahead and swap cans. Now, new can. I've already cleared the nozzle. And you don't like it. One of the reasons why the other one got cold is I was holding the trigger a little too long. So short, little controlled bursts is the way to go. One of the problems is the nozzle, like the air pressure wants to bend the nozzle, but okay. Now our next step, we're gonna take one of our makeup brushes and we're just gonna get real intimate with this thing. And this will get all what's hopefully all the leftover stuff completely off of this thing.
I mean, that's a significant difference, you know, in the way this thing presents. So, fairly worthwhile doing, you know, especially for older pieces like this that are going to have seen some, you know, some time on the shelf. That's gonna help. Like, it just looks so much more like it's back to life. Now, the last thing that you can do is take a finer makeup brush and just sort of get inside the little lines. Now, this process takes a long time, you know, because there's so many steps and there's so many pieces in our collection, but it doesn't have to be something that's done all at once. You know, you can kind of slowly curate your, like, even if you do like one piece a day, you know, like you're going to, not only is it going to, you know, kind of force you to pick it up and mess with it a bit more, but it's also going to, you know, it's a sign that you appreciate what you have, you know, and taking care of it and respecting it, and it's going to display better, and you're going to feel better, you know, about it, you know, when it looks its best. And that's pretty sharp, much different. And there's kind of a top's eye view, or bird's eye view rather, of it now. And as you can see, just a huge difference. It's night and day, and just looks, it looks brand new. I'm just gonna show you guys one more example because I was walking past the shelf and I noticed Chun-Li's awfully dusty. So once again, taking our feather duster and kind of knocking off, you know, the big stuff, so to speak, that we can. You know, it already helps, right? And then we're coming along with our compressed air. And that's being a little stubborn. So let's go in with our brush, and I'm really just focusing on this. But yeah, I mean, that's a big difference. Like, all dust isn't created equal, and sometimes you're gonna have better luck with the compressed air, sometimes you're gonna have better luck with your makeup brush. I've never used the baby wipes, but I know some people have, so, you know, I would imagine that sometimes you have luck there because people are still using them, so I would imagine that they don't destroy your stuff. I'm just not taking that chance, personally. Like, but this dust here, for instance, and I mean, you could see the way that this dust was, you know, kind of bonded to the figure, that it was sitting a little different. You know, it didn't look like the same dust that was on Soundwave, whereas the compressed air knocked most of the Soundwave dust off. This is a bit more labor intensive, so, but this figure needed it, whereas Soundwave didn't. Right? But huge difference, you know, and I'm just doing this kind of haphazardly. Once again, I would kind of go in with my fine brush here and get into some of the details, you know, the little nooks and crannies that you can see, the joints and so forth. So, yeah. I mean, it's a huge difference.
So the change is significant. It's really night and day, and if you saw it in person, you would even say it more so. It is time consuming, but it does, you know, like I said, it does help you appreciate what you have. It does make you kind of put your hands back on stuff, get familiar with things again, and I think it's overall a gratifying process, and especially rewarding when you see it all done. It's not rocket science, right? But I wanted to showcase a couple of the different tools that I use and show you how to go about it, and I got to show you how it adheres differently, which is really just a matter of circumstance. Like, I just happened to bump into that Chun-Li as I was walking back. So like I said, I wanted to go through this just because I'd made the promise and I hadn't gotten around to it. Next week is the Third Party Awards, our second annual Third Party Awards. On my Facebook, I will be asking for your input in regards to one category. So follow me on Facebook, or on, I'll probably just do it there. Maybe I might do something on Instagram as well, but follow me on those platforms and, you know, contribute. And I got videos kind of lined up for the next week or so I won't have the opportunity to really speak fresh with you. So in that regard, I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, be safe, and, you know, good luck under the tree with your luck. And take care of the kids, right? Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.